Hello, 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 everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from this beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of Market Faith today. Super excited that you're joining us. We're just going to spend a minute or two just to wait for other people to join. And then we'll get right into this. If you're watching this pre-recorded, you could just fast forward a bit for about 2 minutes thereabout, and the teaching is going to begin. I'm super excited because today we're talking about what no one tells you about business, right? And it's a series of things that no one really tells you about different aspects of business, and we're going to cover that over the next 4 weeks. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm super excited about that. I can't wait for your comments, for your feedback, for you to share and let me know what this has been like for you. So we're just going to wait for about a minute and a half for everybody else to join us as soon as they possibly can. All right, if you can, please let me know where you're joining us from, whether you're watching this live on YouTube, on Instagram. Please let me know where you're joining us from. All right, say hello, say hi. Thank you very much for joining. All right, so we're just gonna wait for maybe about 30 more seconds or 45 more seconds or a minute, and then we will get right into this. What no one tells you about starting a business, at least what no one told me about starting a business, right? Because you almost felt like anyway, we'll get into this in a minute. All right. Welcome, 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 welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Awesome, 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 awesome. Great, great. Are you ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? All right. Fantastic, 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 fantastic. Woo! It's an absolutely wonderful day. Super excited, super grateful. All right, so let's go. Let's get right into this, right? So what no one tells you about starting a business. What no one tells you about starting a business. I've always, personally, my story and my journey. I've always thought about helping people with business, about helping families with business and things like that. That has always been something that has been on my mind, and so teaching business and ending up in business is something that somehow I felt like it was something I was always going to do. So when I started my career in a consulting firm, I was put in the tax division, and I said, listen, I don't want to be a tax consultant. I want to know about business, and I really want to help people with businesses and things like that. And that was good, and that was not so good in some other ways, and we'll talk about that and when we get into this. In fact, one of the things I want to talk about in the next couple of weeks is what no one tells you about service businesses, right? Because what the business I was doing was a service business, and there were a lot of things I didn't know at the time that nobody told me. And those are some of the things I want to share with you. So what no one tells you about a service business. So please look out for that in the next week or two. All right. Now, so here are some things I wish I knew, I wish I understood, right? Because sometimes you know these things, but you really don't understand them the way you ought to. All right. So the way this is going to work and the way this series will work is that for every issue and for every topic I try to talk about, what I will do is that I will just list out like points in terms of things I wish I knew. It may not be in any particular order, right? But the idea is this: I want you to please identify and locate yourself within the context and the broad categorization that I will be giving, so that when you find yourself, you don't make the kind of mistakes that I made in business in doing all of those things. All right, so let's get right into it. Today I'm going to talk about maybe 4 or 5 or 6 things depending on how much time we have, and just talk about the things that I wish I knew when I started business, right? And I thought I knew a lot, I thought I knew a whole lot actually, but when I started business, it was very different, and things had to change pretty quickly. So the first thing I need to tell you is this: um, number one, starting is very easy. All right, starting the business is very easy and also very deceptive. There is a tendency to think that because it was very easy to start, right, it will be easy to continue. The easiest part of starting a business is starting. That's the reality. The easiest part of starting a business is actually starting. There are more difficult things, significantly more difficult things in business than starting a business, right? And the reason I talk about this is because for most people that are starting one small business or the other, what they need to start is very, very little. You are starting a paint company, you probably, are contracting the manufacturing out. You are starting a graphic design business. You are starting a laundry business. You are starting a logistics business. You are starting a consulting business, a trading business. You are doing any of these things. You are even a supermarket, right? When you think about it deeply, how much money with depending on where you are, depending on where your environment is, right? With a couple of thousands of dollars, you can start a supermarket in a decent location in Lagos, Nigeria, and all those types of things, and perhaps in many other cities across Africa, right? So the easy part is spending money to start. The easy part is buying goods. Those are the easy parts of the business. The more difficult things are going to be further down the line. So here's what I'm saying to you: do not allow the deception of ease at starting make you think that the amount of work that you need to put in is not so much. I'll say that again. Do not be deceived by the level of ease in starting the business, right? And therefore you do not put in the level of work that is required to continue the business and ensure that it succeeds. So that's the first thing I want to say to you. The second thing I want to say to you is getting your first customer is also quite easy for most businesses, right? As a matter of fact, for most businesses and for most entrepreneurs, they are starting a business because they already have one or two customers. Getting your first customer is easy. Getting your second customer is easy. What you need to think about is, how do you maintain a constant and consistent flow of customers? How do you market and win customers? And those things take time. Marketing takes time. Winning customers takes time, especially if you are running a service business that is B2B, right? It takes time. It takes time for people to know you. It takes time for people to understand what you are doing. It takes time. All right, so you must understand that. And the reason why I talk about this is because when you don't understand that these things take time, you will be expecting a result that takes 2 years in 2 months. You must understand that when you see people who are producing results, anything that works is worked at. They've probably been working at it over a long period of time. So don't be deceived. Marketing takes time. Customer attraction takes time. Your first customer is going to be easy. Your second customer is going to be easy. Your third customer is probably also going to be easy. But when you start talking about your fifth, your 20th, your 30th, and that's the way you need to think. So before you start a business, ask yourself, where do I get my 50th customer from? The reason why is that if you're not thinking that way, you will go in with a short-term thinking mentality. In other words, so let me put it to you this way. One of the things I've seen is that people or business owners say that, I'll just do marketing, I'll just do social media ads, and I'll get customers. Listen to me. If it was that easy, there will be too many people that have customers all over the place. The reason why it's not so easy is because people are doing the same Instagram ads and they are not getting the results. So you must understand, what exactly am I going to do differently, and how am I going to get the kind of results that I want to get rather. The level of preparation determines the level of results. The level of preparation determines the level of results. The more you prepare, the more your chances of success. The more you prepare, the more your chances of success. So stop thinking my first 5 customers. Start thinking my first 50 customers. Start thinking my first 30 customers, my first 40 customers. Start thinking, what am I doing in year 1, year 3, year 4, year 5? Plan your first 5 years before you even get there. I find that too many people get into business, rush into business because they want to be their own boss, quote and unquote, and all those types of things. Those things can be deceptive. Number three, never start a business because people need something. All right. I wish somebody had told me, right? Don't start a business because people need something. I started my consulting firm because I felt that small business owners needed consulting and needed help. And the reality is this: I was correct. They need help. But the problem with that reality is this: number one, not everybody realize that they need help. Number two, not many people are willing to pay for that help. In other words, I started a business, but eventually, right, I realized that people have a need, but they don't have the need for the kind of service that I wanted to provide. Having a need is easy. Everybody has a need. How many people are willing to pay for the need that they have is a separate conversation altogether. All right. So you can say that, oh, there's a need in my estate. There are 500 houses in my estate, and there's a need for laundry business there. Right. That's you, and you may be correct. The question is this: how many of them are willing to pay? Let's assume you want to charge 20,000 a month. How many of them are willing to pay that a price for the laundry service that you will provide? So never start a business because there is a need. You start a business because there are people who are willing to pay, and you test that willingness to pay first before you go and start. It's not enough to do a survey and ask people that if I provide this service, would you pay? Listen, everybody will tell you yes, most likely. But that's where the concept of minimum viable product comes from. Do it in a very small way and let people part with their hard-earned money, not a promise, hard-earned cash. Once people can part with cash for the service that you provide, then you are probably onto something. But if all you have is a theory that people will provide, that people will buy, or people will take advantage of the need that you are trying to fill, you are in for a shock, and it's most likely going to be a big shock. All right. So never start a business because people have a need. Only start if they are willing to pay. People need a lot of things that they are unwilling to pay for. I'll say that again, and if you can type it into your chat box, please do ahead and do that. People need a lot of things that they are unwilling to pay what you are asking for. People need a lot of things that they are unwilling to pay for. For example, everybody has need for food, but not everybody will pay 20,000 for fine dining. There is a need for food, but there is not a need for the kind of food that you are providing. Because I've seen people who say that everybody needs to eat, so I'm going to start a restaurant business. You are in for a shock of your life, most likely. So it's very, very important that you understand. That's the third thing that I wish I knew before I started a business as well. Number 4, be careful about doing what you love. Oh my goodness. I wish I could go up on the mountaintop and sing this out loud. Be careful about doing what you love. In many cases, it is a trap. Instead, do what makes money. I'll say that again. Be careful about doing what you love. Instead, do what makes money. Why? When you do what you love and you're not making money, it will become frustrating. I've seen people who like to bake cakes, and they bake fantastic cakes. They spent a lot of time learning how to bake cakes, but nobody was ready to buy. And it became frustrating. So here's the thing. They did not learn how to sell. They learned how to deliver the product or the service. And that is not where you need to spend a lot of time. Listen, when I talk about how to what I wish I knew about service businesses, I'm going to talk to you about this a lot more. All right. Instead, do what makes money. The problem is this: you fall in love with the work and not the business of the work. When you fall in love with the work and not the business of the work, right, you are going to be in trouble. Many people, I've seen people who love to paint, who love to do graphic design. They fall in love with the work of graphic design. They don't fall in love with the business that makes a graphic design business work. They are two separate things. So I made that mistake. I love talk. I love teaching. I love to talk to you about business. I love to help you. I love to do all of those types of things, right? But to now say that the kind of money I want to make, will it give me that kind of money? I'm not sure. I'm not, and I'm being honest with you, I'm not sure. So you know what I've done? I've pivoted. I've moved on to doing some other things that will give me the kind of returns that I am looking for. So be careful about doing what you love. I want to say it one more time. Be careful about doing what you love, because soon enough it will be frustrating. The second issue about doing what you love is that you cannot take the hard decisions that is required for what you love to even thrive. For example, if doing what you love requires that you cut away certain things that you normally would like to do, but customers are not willing to pay for, you, because you love it, you will continue doing it even though nobody's willing to pay for it. I remember one guy, and this is an example in the church. There's a guy that was in the church. The guy loves playing the keyboard, right? But they made him music director. He said, look, the problem I have with you making me a music director is that the reason I joined the choir in the first place is to play the keyboard, not to direct anybody's music. So directing music means that I have to leave the keyboard and start looking at how the tenor, the alto, the backups, and how all of them are singing and how everything is coordinating. That's not what I'm interested in. What I love to do is to play the keyboard. And soon enough, right, when they made him music director, soon enough he left it and went on to do other things. So why am I saying this to you? When what you love has taken possession of your heart, be very careful. I'll say that again. Listen, when you are trying to start a business because you want to do what you love, be very careful, because you are about to fall into a trap if you are not careful. Be very, very careful. Be careful about doing what you love, because it can be a trap. You will love it so much, you will refuse to give it the attention and the care that it needs for it to grow. The last one I'll say to you is this, my time is fast spent, is that, listen, when you are starting a business, for most people, right, starting a second business is a trap. How do I say this to you, right? Starting a second business while you are still trying to make the first business work is a trap. You will dilute your focus and you will share attention where you even need a lot of attention in one area. I've seen a lot of people that now say that the solution to this business not working is starting a second business while you are still keeping the first business. The problem is this: you are diluting your focus, you are diluting your resources that are probably scarce in the first place, so that to focus on something that you are not sure whether or not it will work. Listen, this is what I always advise people. If you are sure that this business there is profit in there, it's just that you've not cracked the code on how to deliver that profit, stick with it. It's only if you are not sure that that business can deliver the kind of profitability and the kind of returns that you want that I will encourage most people to pivot. I'll give you an example. When I started my consulting firm, the consulting business has been very good to me, right? I'm telling you the truth. I have done pretty decently for myself, if I say so myself. If nobody tells me, I can pat myself on the back that I did pretty decently, right? However, at a level, the money I was making in the consulting firm was good. But at another level, for the kind of future I wanted, I didn't see how that money will deliver it. So you know what I did? I shifted. I still do it at a level because I've got clients that I advise and clients that I deal with who are willing to pay, right, what I am willing to charge for the service that I provide. But I am also focused on some other things that ensures that while I'm not dropping the ball on this area, right, I'm moving on and I'm doing other things that is earning me capital in another area. I don't know if it makes sense to you. So the point I'm trying to make to you is this, right? When you say you are starting a second business, right, just be very careful. In most cases, it doesn't work. I've seen people who tell me things like, oh, but they call names, they call Elon Musk, they call all these people, and I always say to them, it's very simple. Most of these guys that you are calling made their money in one thing first before they moved into several other things. Focus, deliver. You even need the proof of concept to prove to yourself that you can deliver value on this particular thing. So focus and get that thing done, especially when there is profit in there. If you are doing a business that the margins are 20%, 30%, 35%, decent. If it's that you are now not making money there, it's a different conversation. Right? I mean, and I'm giving you an example of my own particular situation. Right? So, am I still doing consulting? Yes, but very niche. Very niche. But I'm doing other things as well, right, that helps me to achieve my goals. Because at the end of the day, it's about meeting your goals. It's about achieving the goals that you have set for yourself as a business person, for you, for your family, your loved ones, and everyone around you. All right. So I hope that has been helpful for you today. Thank you so much for joining me today on Market Faith. All right. Super delighted that you joined me. All right. And today we've talked about, right, what I wish I knew about starting a business, right? And the thing is this, let me leave you with this thought. Sometimes you know some of these things, but the reality hasn't dawned on you. And the problem is, and that's part of the reasons why personally I pray, because I pray because so that foolishness will not look like wisdom to me. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that, something that will not work, I will now go and sit with it like as if I'm trying to make something that will not work. All right. So it's very, very important. I always tell entrepreneurs, draw a line in the sand that beyond this point, if this thing doesn't work like this, and doesn't give me this and this and that, we have to have another conversation to review. All right. So I really hope that has been helpful for you today. Thank you very much for joining me today on Market Faith. Next week, right? In fact, next week I think I'm going to go there and talk about what no one tells you about running a serviced business. If you know anyone, if you've got friends, right, who are running service businesses, laundry businesses, logistics businesses, B2B service businesses, and B2C service businesses, right, you want to invite them next week. All right, it's going to be powerful, it's going to be amazing. If you've got colleagues, if you know anyone running a service-based business, listen, some of the things I'll be sharing are things that maybe they've never even heard of before. I guarantee you that it's going to be a big blessing to you. All right. So once again, thank you very much for joining me today on Market Faith. If you're here for the first time live on Instagram, hey, thank you so much for joining me. If you could wave at us, we want to hit the like button for you to say thank you for being a huge part of our day today. Thank you for joining me today. All right. Thank you so much. Hey, I'll see you next week. God bless you.